most of these proposals which are positive are aimed at fetching the votes, whether it be for the farmers, for the informal sector workers, for the poor and the needy, or for senior citizens. Let's go by these proposals one by one. There are several appreciable, noteworthy proposals in this budget, the fifth of this government, and possibly an election eve budget as well, going by the proposals. And this is probably the story of this budget, the universal health cover of 5 lakhs per annum per family, and that translates into a coverage of about 50 crore people in this country. The insurance cover is something that is commendable and is a veritable vote-fetching exercise at one level, but something that needed to be done. And this ranks at the same level as the Right to Work program and the Right to Food program of the UPA government. This is something that will go down well with the electorate. Let's go to the second point. The government has said that we will henceforth provide 1.5x the cost of a farmer's output, and this will be provided uniformly across all food grains. Now, my feelings are mixed on this. The first is that this is, yes, going to increase the income of the farmer, which is good, but at another level, this is also going to have an impact on inflation. Remember, one of the biggest problems that this government ran into when it's assumed charge was the galloping inflation on the food front, and that was mainly caused by the incessant increases in MSP that was offered by the UPA government. Now, how much of an impact this 1.5x over cost being given as MSP to the farmer is going to have on inflation is something that we need to watch. At another level also, it's one thing to say we will provide higher MSP, but you need to watch how much is procured actually on the ground. That is where we had problems, especially on pulses in recent times. MSPs have been generous and they've been announced well in advance, but procurement by state agencies have been very poor. So will this improve? That's a question mark. Let's focus on senior citizens. Remember, senior citizens, most of them who are not government employees live on interest income, and the interest income is meager most times. So by pushing up the tax break on interest income from 10,000 to 50,000, the finance minister has done a commendable job. I mean, this will help the senior citizens live a more dignified life, help them in their healthcare costs. And remember, healthcare costs are not falling anywhere, and this tax break will help them spare more money for that. And also the fact that inflation is eating away into their savings. MSMEs are the backbone of this country, not the large corporates. MSMEs are the ones which generate jobs, and they need to be taken care of, but they have been ignored in recent times. Their biggest complaint is about lack of access to finances, but whether the government has handled that or not, what it has certainly done for them in this budget is it has given them a benefit of lower tax. Remember, 2 years ago, the finance minister brought down corporate taxes on MSMEs with a turnover of up to 50 crores. Now he's increased it to 250 crores, which means pretty much it covers most of, if not all of the MSMEs, and this is a very generous deduction. 250 crores turnover means that even some of the mid-range MSMEs will stand to benefit. If these are the positive proposals, on the negative side we have the long-term capital gains tax, which has been imposed on stocks and mutual funds. Yes, the finance minister has tried to blunt the impact by grandfathering all investments as of yesterday, January 31st, and saying that capital gains will be taxed, will be applicable on all gains over 1 lakh. But I suspect that this is only going to lead to more haggling between the assessee and the tax officer. The tax bureaucracy must already be rubbing its hands in glee at the prospect of having more debates and discussions with the assessee, and this is not going to be a good proposal at all. And if at all the finance minister had wanted to impose LTCG, he should have gone the whole hog rather than trying to blunt the impact and make it more complicated. Finally, the fiscal deficit. He has slipped on the fiscal deficit by as much as 30 basis points from 3.2 to 3.5% this fiscal, and the next year's is projected at 3.3%. this is not something that's going to go down well with the markets and with the ratings agencies. And the key question here is not the slippage, but how much of the slippage is going into productive investments, into avenues that will bring in more revenues to the government, or increase jobs, or increase economic activity in the country. And my answer to the question, if you ask me, has the slippage gone into productive purposes? My answer is doubtful. The middle class also has reasons to feel a little disappointed. It has got a 40,000 rupees standard deduction on salaries income, but that has been balanced by taking away exemptions available on transport allowance and medical reimbursement expenses. Now that is like giving with one hand and taking away with the other, and there are already some estimates which show that if you include the impact of cesses, then there is absolutely zero impact positive for the salaried taxpayers. On the whole, this budget is something that is clearly aimed at the constituency that supports the government, which is the poor and the farmers. The farmers are in distress, they needed help, and they are also threatening to walk away from this government, and which Mr. Modi can't afford in an election year. So obviously all the proposals are aimed at satisfying constituencies which will vote for him. Never mind that the middle class and the corporate sector have been hung out to dry. You can always make up for them once the government comes back to power, if they do.